How many of you are looking forward to something like this tonight, right? Fun thing about presents, you never know what you're going to get unless you pack it. Let's see. Champagne, apple, and honey. That's like the perfect gift, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. How about this one? Maybe this one's better. A broken piece of something. Not what you expect, right? This is like, oh, it's Christmas. It's a nice little box. You might think it's jewelry. I think it's a broken piece of pottery. Cool thing is, one of these things I could return, maybe. Maybe throw this one away. The thing about a gift is, sometimes it's not quite what you'd expect. If I gave you this piece of pottery, now you're in church on Christmas, you need to be honest. How many of you would probably go, this is garbage, I'm probably going to throw this away and I'm not going to ever tell Pastor? Be honest, raise your hands. Okay, thank you for being honest. So would I. It's not what I would expect, except what would you expect from something that's 2,000 years old, from Caesarea by the sea, from the area where Paul was put on a ship to go to Rome? If you knew that's what this was, would you want to throw it away? That is exactly where I found this piece of pottery as a part of a dig in Israel. It doesn't look like much. Quite frankly, I thought it was a chunk of clay when I found it. But then they told me what it was. So it sits on my shelf, collecting more dust because, well, it was in the ground. It's okay. So the thing about Christmas is if your hope is what's inside packages, if your joy for Christmas is what's going to be unwrapped tonight or tomorrow, depending on your family, you are going to be sorely disappointed. You realize 15 to 18% of presents given tonight and tomorrow are going to be returned? That's last year's stat. 30 to 40% of people actually want to return it, but don't. That puts us at over 50% return presents given. How many of you are already pondering, man, let's see what we can, I hope they gave me a receipt for this. Or, who can I re-gift this to? What white elephant do we have coming, right? You see, we've been talking about and learning about what it is to be resilient. When something happens, how do I respond? How do I respond with Christ? How do I have the ability to withstand or recover quickly from difficult situations? Whether it is I'm opening a present and inside I'm going, what is this? It is not what I expected. Whether it is I am spending Christmas not where I thought I would be. Situations are not what I wanted them to be. Or maybe you are sitting in one of those really good moments and this is a good year. The number of people I talked to this year who've said, yeah, it's been a rough year. For a year, yada, yada. Then I got to talk with someone else today and their comment was, this is probably the best year ever. I'm just so excited. This has been an amazing year for me. No matter whether you're on a good end or whether you're one on the challenging end, you take a look at what is it to be resilient, to withstand, to be able to recover quickly from disappointment, from not being where you thought you'd be, from Christmas not giving you what you thought it would give you. Because there's a part of us that puts this expectation of this is what Christmas is going to be. Whether it's from movies, whether it's from our childhood, we have expectations, and when it doesn't live up to what we expected, we feel depressed, we feel down, and we allow darkness. And so tonight, as we dig in, we find where we find real joy in difficult times. You go back to that first Christmas, right? That first Christmas was not what you would expect. This first Christmas, I know it's like stained glass art. It's kind of cool. It wasn't anything to be expected, right? You start with the story, and Mary gets told she's going to have a baby. She is a woman of faith. She is a woman who has learned her Bible stories. She has learned it all, and she has pledged to be married. She's figuring out what that all means. She's figuring out and looking forward to married life. I don't know what that means. She's just excited. But then she's filled with fear. Fear. Well, the angel's first words to her are, Stop being afraid. I'm not a female, so I can't imagine all of the thoughts that were going through her head. You know, as a guy, I can say, okay, her whole trajectory is wrong. She's now not married. She's not going to have that stability. She's not sure what Joseph is going to say, what's the town going to say, what's her family going to say. All of the what ifs, and they were all hitting her brain at probably the same time, but that's not how she responds, right? Then you get to Joseph. He's a righteous man. He's a guy who knows his Bible. He's a guy who's been studying the Word. He is looking forward to an engagement. He is looking forward to getting married. He's been walking with God, and then he hears this news, and because he's a guy who walks with God, he isn't going to respond to the way that the community which would be, and he had the right, just so you're aware, Jewish law, he had the right to take her to the center of town and have her stoned in front of everyone. That's what Mary should have had happen according to Jewish law for being pregnant outside of marriage. But he doesn't want her and her family to go through that. He loves God and he understands what grace is, but his whole trajectory is shot. Then you get these shepherds who, they're just out trying to do their job and some bright light shines from the sky. Today they'd call them UFOs, right? What's going on? First words to the shepherds are, fear not. Stop being afraid. Over and over. It's dark, there's fear. First Christmas was not as planned. How many of you have walked 90 miles? Maybe this year, maybe? You walk a mile a day, a mile every couple days, right? That was the journey. She's pregnant. They have to go 90 miles by donkey from Nazareth down to Bethlehem. I'm not a woman and I'm not pregnant, so I don't understand this, but I'm told by women who are pregnant, traveling when pregnant, especially past the 6th month, is not a pleasant thing, even in a car. Now imagine being on a donkey or having to walk it. And then you're not home when the time comes. You're not with the family. You're not with your mom. You're not with his mom and his family who are all there, who that is your support network. None of the entire Christmas story went as planned. Yet we have this picture perfect night. And none of it was planned except for one thing. When the time had fully come, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under law, to redeem those under law, that we might receive adoption as sonship. Everything about that night was unplanned except for one thing, the arrival of the Son of God. His arrival was at the exact perfect moment. Everybody else may have said, this timing stinks. I don't understand. This is a difficult situation. This is not the way we wanted to start a marriage. This is not the way we were planning to spend our night watching sheep. Everything was out of the ordinary except for one thing, the one thing that mattered. The arrival of the Son of God, who'd been planned from before time. Since the children have flesh and blood, he too shared in their humanity, so that by his death he might break the power of him who holds the power of death, that is the devil, and free those who all their lives were held in slavery by their fear of death. At the end of the day, what is the ultimate fear? Death. What is it that everything starting in January is going to tell you how you can beat? Death. Get your right financial plan in line. Get your right this in line. Get your health plan in line. Get your insurance in line. Get your workouts in line. Get your diets in line. And start it all over again, right? Why? Because we are afraid of death. Why did God have to take on flesh? This is why Christmas matters. Christmas does not matter if there were not death. Because the only way for God to beat death was for him to take on flesh. For you, for me. It's the only way that you get heaven. It's the only way that death doesn't win for you. Instead, it becomes a homecoming party for you. I'm leaving this world of sorrows, and I'm entering perfection in eternity with God. The Word became flesh. The Word, God himself, became flesh. Wow. That's how much he loves you. He said, I have heaven. Everything is under my control. But I'm going to take on flesh for you. To redeem you. To give you hope. And I'm not just going to have that flesh. I'm going to dwell with you. What is it to dwell? We don't use that word. It's not the college student who stops in once every 4 to 6 weeks, once every 10 weeks. And they call your house home, but they only see you once a semester, maybe twice. To dwell with means I am seeing you daily experiencing that communication on a real level. And God says, I want to dwell with you. He is not a God who is far off. He says, I took on flesh to dwell with you, to live with you. We've seen his glory. His glory isn't in the manger. His glory is on that cross. As he cries out, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. As he cries out, it is finished. But the ultimate glory is on Easter Sunday when he says, where else were you going to look for me? He says, peace be with you. His message is peace because he conquered death. And he is full of grace and truth. Full. Some of you are going to be very full tonight after you have all your dinners and snacks, or maybe that's tomorrow night. And then somebody's going to add a little more food in front of you, and it's going to be a dessert, and you're going to go, oh yeah, there's always room for desserts. And then you are going to go, oh, there is no more room. There is no more room in this inn. The picture of full here is that picture of I'm pouring coffee and I start talking to someone, and what happens? It just overflows. That's the terminology he's used. Full of, overflowing with grace and with truth. Grace, you are forgiven. I don't know what your past is. I don't know what your present is. I don't know what you've done that you pray God never finds out about, but he already knows. I don't care what that is because he says, I have forgiven you and I love you. And truth. He is the truth. There's a guy at some point in the Bible, really important guy, he says, what is truth? Everybody's searching for a version of truth. Jesus is full of grace and truth, the only truth that matters. And tonight he helps you see what that truth is. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. What is that which will set you free? There is only one thing that sets us free from sin, from death, from shame, from guilt, from our past, and from anything that's coming. It is the babe in the manger who goes to a cross, who conquers death. Joy in Jesus is holding on to the truth that he sets you free. And so walk through John 1 with me. We're going to read it again. And as you do, he's going to outline what is the truth about who he is. He starts with, the Word was God. The truth is Jesus himself is God, and he was with God in the beginning. Meaning, there isn't a time when Jesus was not. He is, in the beginning, part of the creative story. Go back and review some of the stuff we studied back in February when we studied Genesis. Jesus is there, and we're told that not only is he there with God, he's also the one who God used to create it all. So we always talk about the Father as the creator, but John peels back a layer of creation that says, through him, through Jesus, through the Word, everything was created. How is that possible? Go back to Genesis, and what is it that God used to create? And he said, let there be. The Word. Let there be. God spoke. Jesus is the Word. The truth. Jesus gives life and light. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not overcome it. Some of you have gone on cruises, and you go out in the middle of the ocean in that middle of that cruise day. Actually, it's the middle of the night, and you step out on that balcony or on the ship's thing, and you look out, and you cannot see light. Some of you have been into the caverns where they flip the light switch off, and you're so far down in the earth, there is no light, and it is completely pitch. You can hold your hand in front of your face and not see it. That is what it is without God. And he says, in him is light and life. He shines light. We started the service with, why do we have candles? Why do we celebrate light at Christmas? Because it is a season of darkness when you need light. But the reality is, there is a truth. People reject him. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. A couple chapters later, light comes into the world, but the people love darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil. Everyone who does evil hates light and will not come into the light, for fear their deeds will be exposed. He says, I already know. The reality is so many of us walk in darkness. Some of you have been in darkness. Some of you know what that darkness is today. It's depression. It's anxiety. It is hatred of God. It is anxiety towards him. It is, I don't know which is the right one. I'm just going through the motions, and I'll be okay. He says, no, I am the light. He says, I came into the world as the light because I don't want you to know what eternal darkness is like, where there is no goodness, where there is no hope, where there is no peace. I came for you in a manger with flesh. I understand your emotions. I understand your reasoning. I understand how it is a struggle at times. But the truth is, he came for you. He gives life. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believe in him, he gave the right to become children of God, children not born of natural descent or of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God, in the waters of baptism. He washes you and he adopts you into his family. He adopts you. He says, you are mine. Some of you know families who have adopted. The thing about an adoption is, if you adopt a baby, you know at some point that baby is going to be a 12-year-old. And at some point, they're going to be a 16-year-old know-it-all who despises you. And they, in adoption, say, I know that's coming, and I still choose you. And that's what God says about each and every one of us. I know what you struggle with, and I choose you. In the waters of baptism, he says, you are mine. I want you to have life. I don't want you to live this world eking out an existence, but I want you to have life with me. Joy amid difficult times is found in the grace and the truth of Jesus. I don't know what your Christmas is. I don't know whether this has been a great year for you or a challenging year for you. I don't know if you're going to open a bunch of presents tomorrow that you want to return, or you're going to find out you received that gift that you had no clue the value. For most of us, that is our faith. That is a gift that has been given to us, and it isn't until you've been in really difficult times that you realize its true value. And it's in those moments that you realize the peace that only God can give, because everything is falling apart and the only thing left is God holding you. And you feel his peace. One of the joys today was walking in and seeing Kierland just knocked out in Rick's arms. That's the picture of peace with God. A toddler so resting, secure, you can go anywhere knowing dad's carrying you and it don't matter. That's the picture of full of grace, full of truth that God gives you today. If you're one who's been in one of those seasons, go through again and remind yourself of all these truths that he speaks to you. And as you recount them, hear his words for you. This is how much I love you. This is how you have joy. Joy that isn't presence, joy that isn't circumstances, joy that's not health, but joy founded in the truth that God loves you. And he has gone to hell to conquer it and back to redeem you. Let that be your joy each and every day. Amen.